Well, hello there. We are talking about meiosis. We recently have been talking about mitosis and how cells um, make cells for repair and growth. But meiosis is a little bit different. It's actually a lot different. It's how eukaryotes make cells for reproduction. So we're going to take a look at a family photo, and parents can produce lots of different types of offspring. You really will see some resemblances, but really no two are going to look exactly alike. And that's going to be explained today through the process of meiosis. So I do want to make sure we point out an exception to that rule, and that is if there are identical twins. But in this family, there are no identical twins present. So the previous lesson, we talked about eukaryotic cells, and we talked about how they have chromosomes, and specifically, each student was asked to research how many chromosomes were in a specific species. And we recognized that, different organisms had different numbers of chromosomes, but all of peas that are out there have exactly 14 chromosomes, or all of the frogs have exactly 26 chromosomes. And when we were talking about those cells, we were talking about the eukaryotic cells that you find basically in every body cell. And just kind of a reminder of this terminology again, here's your typical cell. Inside of the nucleus, you're going to find the chromosomes. And those chromosomes are going to, this is a sister chromatid, so you're going to basically see a replicated chromosome here. And specifically, the regions of those chromosomes contain genes. And genes are the factors that control traits of all individuals. They contain the instructions. And we're going to learn in Unit 5 that they contain the instructions to make the proteins. So we also talked about how chromosomes come in matching sets. And this is going to be important today. That terminology is homologous pairs. So we compare that to like a pair of shoes. There's a right shoe and a left shoe that go together. So when a cell has a complete set of both of those pairs, we say that it is diploid. And you see the prefix di here means two. So these are going to have a complete set. And in humans, that number is 46. If we look over here at haploid, we hear the word half. You can think of the word half whenever you see the HA, and those are for cells that have only half the number of chromosomes. The only examples of cells that have half the number of chromosomes are the reproductive cells for that organism, which would be sperm and eggs. Sperm and eggs also are called gametes. Sometimes are called sex cells, reproductive cells, or even I've heard germ cells used. If we take a look at this picture, the question asks, what is the diploid and haploid number of this species? So take a look, diploid, 2N, and you count them. 1, let me back up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 chromosomes in this species. That's its diploid number. Its haploid number is 1, 2, 3. So it makes sense. 3 is half of 6. So diploid is 6, haploid is 3. And also pay attention that the haploid consists of 1 chromosome from the homologous pair. This is an even larger picture of, this is a human diploid cell, and this would be an example where you would see 46, if you count these up, 46 chromosomes, and they're already organized with their homologous pair. Compared to the sperm that has actually just 23 chromosomes. So this picture shows what happens when gametes combine. And this is really the problem that is solved with making specific cells for reproduction. We have a cell that has 23 chromosomes and 23 chromosomes that join together to start a new organism or to make a zygote, which is the result of an egg and a sperm uniting. So now this zygote will have 46. So again, that really solves the problem when you come to creating a new organism and sexually reproducing species, that they need to have cells that have half the information when creating a new organism. And then this diploid zygote is going to undergo lots and lots and lots and lots of divisions of cell division and mitosis to grow and develop and along the way repair. And then at a point of puberty, maturity, a female will have ovaries. That's a specific organ in the reproductive system that will produce and allow cells to go through meiosis to make eggs. And in a male, that reproductive organ is the testes, and the testes will go through meiosis to produce sperm. So again, this is really the only location in the body that's undergoing meiosis. So let's review some terms. Number 1, matching sets of chromosomes are called blank pairs. Number 2, egg and sperm combine to make a. Number 3, egg and sperm are both known as. Number 4, a cell that has only half of a set of chromosomes is said to be. And number 5, genes are located on. And you can pause the screencast right now if you'd like to take a little more time. If not, I'm going to go over the answers. Number 1, matching sets of chromosomes are called homologous pairs. Number 2, egg and sperm combine to make a zygote. Number 3, egg and sperm are both known as gametes, or you could have put sex cells. Number 4, a cell that has only half of the chromosomes is said to be haploid. Number 5, genes are located on chromosomes. So you definitely want to go back and study those and keep reviewing those. That's important terminology to keep in mind as we move forward. So if we look at the overview of mitosis, at the start of mitosis, we take a diploid cell and make 2 identical copies of that diploid cell. The process of creating a gamete or a sex cell is called meiosis, and is definitely similar to mitosis, but in the end, it's going to produce 4 haploid cells that are not identical, So in meiosis, we also need to review some important terminology here at these homologous chromosomes. Just like we talked about cells copying their chromosomes for mitosis, these homologous chromosomes they're going to go through an S phase of replication. And in this case, these sister chromatids are going to now line up next to their homologous chromosome, rather than in mitosis, the chromosomes lined up completely down the middle. So in meiosis, they're actually going to line up with their homologous chromosome. We call this, of all 4 of these chromosomes here, the 2 sister chromatids, we call that a tetrad. So when we take a look at meiosis, you'll notice there's 2 divisions, division 1 and division 2. And at the beginning, while the cell is in interphase, those chromosomes are going to replicate, and then these homologous chromosomes are going to separate. So now this cell in cell division 1 has half the number of chromosomes as this cell has half the number of chromosomes. Notice there's still a sister chromatid, but essentially it's just a replicated one. The second meiotic division is very similar to mitosis, where the sister chromatids separate and enter into a new cell. Again, notice this is where we had a diploid cell, doubled information, but now is reduced to haploid because those chromosomes, those sister chromatids separated. During prophase 1 of meiosis, we do need to recognize that there are some things that can happen. The homologous pairs line up and trade genes in a process called crossing over. In the next screencast, we're going to get into some more specifics about how crossing over increases variability.